If you randomly ask 100 people about the lead chemical, it would be surprising to hear that only 2 of them know what it is. Well, the main question here is, why should we know about lead? Why is it very important to talk about lead? Well, the answer is very simple and very astonishing. Lead is dangerous to our health, and it is found in our homes, in the water we drink, and in the playground where our kids play every day. The very surprising part of it is that people live in a lead-painted home without knowing it, which may put their life in danger in case this lead is handled without caution. Dear viewers and listeners, today we are talking about the hazardous chemical product which we find in our home, workplaces, in the playgrounds where our kids play every day. It is called lead. From the studio of General Knowledge Channel, I'm Nkurikiyumukiza. We will be right back. What is lead? Lead is a chemical element. It is a heavy metal, denser than most common materials. Lead is soft and malleable, and it has a low melting point. For those people who are specialized in chemistry, they understand better about the property of this chemical element. But in our documentary, we are not focusing on chemical properties of lead. Instead, we are focusing on explaining where specifically this lead is found in our homes and other locations frequented by us in our everyday life. We are covering danger caused by lead and how we can manage to be safe from it. Why was lead used in housing? Lead was added to paint to accelerate drying, increase durability, maintain a fresh appearance, and resist moisture that causes corrosion. This is how the terminology lead-based paint appeared in the construction industry. Lead-based paint was popular in the United States of America from the 19th century, and it was fully regulated in the late 20th century, around 1978. During this period, the United States of America's housing used lead-based paint in high quantity. Lead-based paint was used on window frame, doors, skating boards, kitchen and bathroom cupboards, exterior walls, gutters, and metal surfaces. It can also be found on interior walls and ceilings. Lead-based paint has long been considered to be harmful environmental pollutant. In the early 20th century, there was one cited case of lead poisoning. This period marked the beginning of serious regulations of lead-based paint in low-income communities housing or Indian housing and other government-managed buildings where lead-based paint was common. In 1978, the United States banned the manufacture of lead-based paint due to health concerns. Since then, it was discovered that exposure to lead-based paint caused many health problems. Exposure to high level of lead may cause kidney disease, high blood pressure, heart disease, anemia, weaknesses, and brain damage. Very high lead exposure can cause death. Lead can cross placental barrier, which means pregnant women who are exposed to lead also expose their unborn babies. Children are more vulnerable to this poison. Even low-level lead exposure in developing baby have been found to affect behavior and intelligence. It causes learning disorder. In other words, it lowers their IQ. Lead exposure can cause miscarriage to pregnant women and infertility to both men and women. How does lead get in the human body? Or exposure to lead and lead chemical can occur through inhalation, through the air we breathe, ingestion, or by swallowing it, dermal absorption through skin, or absorption embedded leaded foreign body, and transplacental route, which means pregnant woman to a fetus. Most human exposure to lead occurs through ingestion or inhalation. Statistics from NCBI, National Center for Biotechnology Information, shows that an estimated 3.6 million American homes with at least one child have significant lead paint hazards. As many as 500,000 US children under 6 years have a high level of lead in the blood. Each lead-exposed child costs an estimated $5,600 in medical and special education services due to the impairment caused by lead exposure. Based on the information found on www.cdc.gov publication titled Lead in Paint, a home built in the US before 1978 are likely to have some lead-based paint. As confirmed by EPA or Environmental Protection Agency, other homes are more likely to contain lead-based paint. For the homes built between 1960 and 1977, the probability or chance of presence of lead-based paint is 24%. For the homes built between 1940 and 1959, the probability or chance of presence of lead-based paint is 69%. For the home built before 1940, the probability or chance of presence of lead-based paint is 87%. By classifying your home under these years of construction, you can come up with an idea of the probability of your house having lead-based paint on some components. The above statistics seem to be high and concerning, but does the presence of lead-based paint in a building automatically mean danger? When does lead-based paint become danger or hazardous to human health? In the next part of this documentary about lead paint hazard, we are discussing about when lead-based paint in a building becomes dangerous and who are most vulnerable to it. According to Title X, Lead Regulation, Housing and Urban Development, it is important to know that all presence of lead-based paint in a building is not dangerous or hazardous. For the lead-based paint to be considered as hazardous, it must be categorized under either of the following deterioration conditions: choking, cracking, flaking, alligatoring, blistering, and peeling. Let us explain one by one of these deterioration conditions. Choking. Choking refers to the formation of a white chalky powder on the surface of the paint film. This condition often occurs as the paint withers and the binder is slowly degraded by sunshine and moisture. Cracking and flaking. It is an advanced form of choking that usually occurs on surface with multiple layers of paint and include breaks in the film that extend to the base substrate. Alligatoring. Alligatoring is a reptilian scale pattern on dried paint film that are often caused by the inability of top coat to bond smoothly to a glossy coat underneath. Blistering. Blistering is the formation of bubbles in the paint film caused by either heat or moisture. Peeling. Peeling is a type of paint deterioration usually resulting from wet wood swelling under paint, causing the paint film to loosen, crack, and dislodge. In a few words, Lead-based paint problems comes when the lead-based paint starts deteriorating and lead dust begin accumulating on surfaces such as on windowsill or countertop floors, as well as on children's toys, clothes, and bedding. It can also contaminate soil around the house. Based on what we just discussed above, lead-based paint is a hazardous which is affecting thousands of kids and adults in the communities. Although our case focused on the United States of America, it is very crucial to understand that lead-based paint is a global issue. All countries are affected. We focused on the United States of America because it is among few countries which recognize the danger of lead-based paint in its community. As published by Reuters, while China, Singapore, and South Africa introduced the limits on the lead content of household paint, there is strong evidence that high lead paint is still being sold in these countries and other countries, and it is used to paint homes, schools, toys, and even playgrounds. This confirms how lead should be considered as an issue in every country on this planet. In the next second part of documentary about lead hazard, we will discuss about how lead hazard gets created in our homes, not necessarily by the 6 deterioration stages discussed above. We will focus on everyday usage of our homes, which creates leaded dust. We will talk about how our children are poisoned by this dust. In addition, we will talk about circumstances under which adults get poisoned by lead, and we will explain how you can proceed in case you suspect lead-based paint in your home. Please do not forget sharing and subscribing for the next documentary session.